Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of We Are One, You Are Two, a PlayStation and video game podcast. I am your host, Robert Fanzo. Alongside me for this journey, my co-host, the only man in Chicago with a beard grown in Pittsburgh, Matt Rhodes. Matt, how are you today?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. In case you didn't know, this is a podcast where we talk about video games, we talk about PlayStation, sometimes we talk about other systems as well. This week we have a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking about Xbox One's gameplay pass. We're going to be talking about Microsoft and how that might impact Sony's ecosystem. We're going to talk trophies, streams, and a special game or two that Matt and I have been playing this week. I do want to remind you all that we post these episodes first every Sunday evening for Patreon supporters. And then starting this week, we're going to start posting them a day or two later on Monday and then on YouTube Tuesday for everybody else.
Yeah, you got to pay for that exclusivity.
That's right. Helps keeps the mic on.
It's like $1, but
Yeah, so. I mean, come on, $1. You can do it.
Right.
So we're going to talk about a few things before I forget. And one of them, of course, is that I just mentioned is the Patreon subs will now get the podcast early. I'll publish it again every Monday and Tuesday for everyone else on YouTube and other services. But every Sunday, we're going to try and post it on Patreon. And subs get access to that, as well as if I hit my goal, we're going to start doing a video recording of me recording this live as well.
Yeah.
The other housekeeping item, I guess, that I have here for us before I forget is we're going to start doing some Let's Plays, Matt. We're going to probably try and do within the next week or two. We're going to start posting those on my YouTube channel exclusively for the moment and then get them on the Patreon as well. And try and get them on there early as well so that Patreon supporters not only have early access to the podcast, but they also have week early access to our Let's Plays as well.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So, speaking of games, what have you been playing lately?
Well, as my answer always is, Rocket League, for sure.
How did I know?
God, I know. I was playing it before we even started. Right before we started this, I just can't get enough of it. And plus, I don't know what you've seen lately, but I mean, they released all that stuff about the updates and like what they plan to do in coming months, and it seems all pretty exciting. So I gotta try to get as high as I can. I gotta rank up as high as I can, man, before the end of the season here. It's only a week away.
I was actually going to add that to the news items for us today because I did see that they are actually going to, one of the patch notes or outline for the year, I guess I should say, was that they were actually going to have cross-platform play, but they said with participating platforms. So I was thinking, what are the odds Sony will participate? Probably zero. I know, so.
But I've also been playing that little game called Celeste that we talked about last week. I was intrigued by the description so much that I was like, I'll buy it. So
the strict platforming, you mean?
Yeah, the tight platforming.
Oh, tight, yes.
And I'll explain why it's called tight platforming in a minute. But I popped down my $20 to get it, and I've not been disappointed. I will say the tight platforming probably is in reference to your butthole and how your butthole feels when you're trying to make these jumps and trying to get across these things. I will say the one thing that's super fun about it, you die a lot. Like a lot. But even in like one of those like little what are they called? Like while the game's loading or whatever, like those little like clips that they put like give you like tips and tricks. It says be proud of your death count. And like they keep a death count for every level that you do and then they just add it up.
How far have you gotten?
I'm pretty sure I don't know. I think I'm either level 4 or 5 and I've died at least 100 to 150 times per level.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm only on level 2. But I did die 167 times on the first level.
Yeah.
And those damn strawberries, dude, that's what brings the death count up. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. I could probably actually survive and get under 100 deaths.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to go for the strawberries. And the problem is I still haven't even found all of them in each level.
Here's the thing. Right. Yeah, exactly. One, you haven't found all of them because I don't know where they are because they're just hidden behind walls and all that kind of stuff. 2, they're useless. It even says in the game, just these strawberries are basically to impress your friends. So, of course, that means that you're going to go for them because you are the trophy prostitute as you are.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
So I know that they will definitely be one of those things that you will enjoy and you will go for because that's just how you are. But I'm going to play through it once, not worrying about it, and then maybe see if I want to go back to get more.
Well, yeah, and so I wanted to talk about that too because I've been playing that this week as well. And what I thought was interesting about it too was the fact not just are they for the trophies, but there's also a B side to each level as well.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing for me is because I didn't find a B-side tape until like level 5 or 6 or level like whatever, like the last level I played. I did not find because you have to like collect a little cassette tape to access it or whatever.
Right.
But I've only found one of them in all the levels that I've played.
Oh, well, I'm 2 for 2 on that route. I've actually found both so far in the 2 levels. Yeah. And I've managed to get both. They're a little difficult, but I managed to get both. And so I'm excited about that because that to me, I don't know if that opens up more strawberries. I would assume it would.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. But I know that there was a strawberry I spent 40 minutes trying to get the other night.
40 minutes? Good Lord, man.
I died I haven't finished this level yet, so I bet I'm already up to 200 and some deaths, and I bet 190 of them are probably from that strawberry.
What level was this?
The second one, right after the girl with the glass, where the glass is, and you break the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that strawberry that's down below if you look in the binoculars?
Yeah, maybe.
I was trying to figure out where that one went, so I spent 40 minutes running around, and then finally I went to a place where, you know how the wooden platforms cut you off?
Yeah.
I basically couldn't get back down, and I was like, well, there goes that strawberry for the day, but... Yeah. Anything else you've been playing?
Netflix did send me like a free game, or not Netflix, I'm sorry, Redbox did send me a free game coupon. So I looked, as soon as they sent me it, I looked for a Redbox that had Monster Hunter World, but none of them have them yet, which is weird. Sometimes it does take like them a week to actually get into the box. And even then, it's still hard to find because there's not a lot in the city per se. I mean, there's a lot of Redboxes, but a Redbox, stands, but doesn't mean that there's, a Monster Hunter in every one of them. So probably tomorrow night or, because I'll have off all day Saturday, probably tomorrow night, I'll try to find one that I can rent Monster Hunter World. What is it Monster Hunter World?
Monster Hunter World, yeah. It's funny you bring that up because I bit the bullet.
Oh, did you?
I did, and I was on a real good track. I was playing Prey, I was playing Persona 5, I was working on Celeste, and then I bit the bullet, and I went with Monster Hunter World. And I've sunk about 2 to 3 hours into it. Not much because I had a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
But besides the insanely confusing menu system, because I'm just not used to that. I guess that's more of an MMO thing.
Sure.
From what I've read, you get used to it. I love it. And I'm actually trying to grind. It's getting me to grind for, if you buy it off of the PS Store, there's a deluxe edition that has, or maybe it was just an event they have for PlayStation owners, I believe, if I remember correctly. You can get Horizon Zero Dawn gear. So you can dress him up, dress your hunter up like Aloy. Or Aloy. And then the little, what's that called? I totally forgot about that. The Palico. You can dress him up as a, I'm trying to think of the term from Horizon Zero Dawn, one of those little creatures. Seekers, maybe, yeah. And so I'm going to start grinding for that this weekend and try and get that because I really want that. And it's only till February 8th.
Oh, really? Ugh.
Well, for the Palico, and then February 9th through the 24th is for the Aloy costume.
Oh, okay.
So it's a 2-part event.
Yeah, I remember when they announced it that's what they were going to do. They said that's, they pretty much said that because don't they have it on like PC or Steam or something like that?
What, Monster Hunter?
Yeah. Didn't it come out?
Yeah, it's cross-platform.
Right.
Correct, yeah.
Like it was out on the PC before the consoles. Is that correct?
It was out in Japan, I believe, before consoles. It wasn't out.
Then that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I remember them saying, I remember them being like, oh, this is going to be a thing. We're going to put her into this game. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and I'm super pumped about that.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 things I've been playing lately. I did break back open Persona 5 yesterday briefly, only because I felt guilty.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
I'm in the middle of a palace.
Your backlog for too long, Robert. You know what I mean? They'll feel lonely.
Well, you know what? I also left my party and all my buddies there in the middle of a palace. So
that's silly.
I didn't want to leave them hanging. But
I don't know what that means.
There's like the dungeons you invade basically in Persona 5. And so I've also been working on Neo. I beat a boss in Neo over the last week too, but once again that fell into my backlog.
Yep.
So in and out.
Yep. Back and forth. Or backlog and forth.
Backlog and forth. Now that that's out of the way, I do want to go ahead and I was going to address some stuff because I made some predictions in my very first podcast about this year. And one of them has to do with the news. So I think I'm just going to hold off to talk about those another time because we don't have solid news on them yet. But if you haven't listened to my first episode yet, I made 10 predictions for this year about Spider-Man, about Detroit Become Human and stuff like that. I thought I had talked about Red Dead 2, which was made big news today. This is when we're recording this Thursday. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. I'm going to say that other stuff because there haven't really been any updates on it, so I'm just going to hold off. Let's go ahead and talk about PlayStation news. So this is our PlayStation News segment. This is called PS-N, or, as the kids are calling it these days, right? PlayStation-N News. Most of this is PS related this week, although there's a couple of things I wanted to touch on that I thought was kind of neat. And some of it's repetitive. There are 14 items on the list.
Dang, that's a lot of items.
I know, it's a lot. Some of them overlap.
Sure,
so let's hit this off with the first two. They kind of tie together, and you're going to see that EA takes up about 3 of these we'll get to them in a minute.
Yeah.
The first one is, speaking of Monster Hunter, they also are getting a Street Fighter V costume.
Okay.
So you can be Ryu or Sakura.
Interesting.
Those costumes are coming. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited about that. I was like Ryu. I remember playing Street Fighter as a kid, and that was one of my favorite characters.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Those are both Capcom?
Yep.
Okay. So that makes sense.
So they're doing all that crossover stuff.
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
That's kind of cool. And Monster Hunter also shipped. I want to make sure I'm clear on that. Not sold, but shipped 5 million copies in its first 3 days.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that they're not sold yet, but to just be like expecting them to sell that much, that's a gutsy move, I think.
Well, here's the thing. That includes digital and retail. And so here's what I'm thinking. It's the fastest selling entry in the series. I'm willing to bet, because Dragon Ball, I just saw another story today, and I didn't include this on the news, but Dragon Ball FighterZ sold 2 million copies in its first week. And so I'm thinking Monster Hunter World probably has sold close to 3 million.
Yeah.
And they've shipped those other 2 million because they saw the demand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That came, and maybe pre-orders went up. I have no idea. I know everybody on Twitter, everybody on Facebook that I've been following, and the groups I belong to, and even some of the podcasts I listen to, everybody's talking about it. And so everybody seems to be playing it. So I'm not surprised that it shipped 5 million copies, digital and, I don't know how they count digital was shipped, but digital and physical in 3 days.
Yeah.
So you need to just bite the bullet.
I feel like with digital, it's actually bought, right? I mean,
right.
You know what I mean? The hard copies are being shipped, yes, but digital counts towards the sold, I would imagine, because you can't really ship a digital copy.
I know, and that was the wording of the article, 2 articles I read. So it said, and that was from Capcom. So, but either way, 5 million in 3 days is
nuts.
Absurd.
Yeah, absolutely nuts.
And so that's just that. I think that speaks a lot to it, and that's why it's such a. I love it. It's such a great game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to get used to, like I said, but especially if you've never done it before, and this is my first one, but it's definitely a lot of fun. I can definitely see the need where I'm going to have a party eventually, though.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to do some Let's Plays. I'm going to have to sucker you into getting it. If not, I'm going to have to reach out to the 4 people who listen to this podcast and beg them to play with me.
Yeah, right. Maybe if we get more listeners / subscribers to your Patreon.
I know. Well, you know what? There is a tier on there that, just saying, there's a tier on there where you're guaranteed to play multiplayer games with me twice a month. So
shameless plug.
Item number 3 on the list is for you. On Reddit, they were requesting it so much that Assassin's Creed Origins, is going to get a new game plus.
Ooh, what?
So you can use your upgraded Bayek, I guess, to slay some crocodiles.
Oh, that's pretty interesting, actually. I think I would be okay with that. I'd be okay to do that. As I was playing Rocket League, I did notice that there was some kind of update today, so I don't know if that's like something they just put in now. Maybe it's something they could just put in real quick. I don't know. Like, I don't know how that works on the back end.
When I last read, it said coming soon. There was no date.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. That's interesting because correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think any other Assassin's Creed has had a new Game Plus.
No, absolutely not.
New direction for the series.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that because of Reddit, they were able to, they heard the demands on Reddit and that's why they did it.
If you want your demands heard, go to Reddit, my man.
I mean, no kidding. Rocket League does it, right?
Yeah.
Psionics.
Yeah, Psionics definitely does it.
And actually, another Reddit story I didn't throw in here. There was backlash last week on Reddit after we recorded the show about, this is 14 and a half.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege was supposed to raise its prices back up for the base game because they were going to include additional content and everything. So it was going to go from like a $40 price point back up to $60.
Oh, jeez.
And people were so outraged on Reddit, they retracted that.
Of course.
So Reddit owns the internet, long story short.
Clearly, at least the gaming industry.
Yeah. Number 4 on the list, Epic. And this was, again, at the end of the week last week after we recorded, so I'm just going to mention it real quick. Yeah. Epic will shut down Paragon in April. And that's, who plays MOBAs anyway? I
mean, I played Paragon a little bit with a friend.
Did you?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I've lost you.
I mean, it was, I don't know. It wasn't bad. I just, it's one of those things where you just need a lot of people to play, or like, it's just a grinding kind of big old Battlefield thing, and it's just like, meh.
Yeah, they did say they were giving away full refunds. Giving back full refunds for anybody, yeah. This is clearly Fortnite. Wow. Fortnite. La 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 la. This is clearly Fortnite having an influence, right? Because of the PUBG and Fortnite. And they'd rather focus you got 40 million people playing that. Why not put your focus there?
Well, yeah. I mean, if that's what's going to... how much is the recall going to cost them compared to how much they're going to make off of Fortnite, putting all their resources into Fortnite? Right?
Oh, exactly. Number 5, PSN keeps going down over the past week. I haven't had that problem, but then again, I haven't played as much. So
I have not had that problem. This is actually one of the things that I was thinking about last week because I heard about it. I've seen YouTube videos about the fact that it keeps going down, but I have not had any issues. I mean, there may have been possibly one, but I thought it was more the Rocket League server than the PSN. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird that it would be that they keep having these issues. Hopefully they'll get them fixed. I guess I don't even know what's causing them either.
Yeah, I can't tell you either. I have no idea. Sony wouldn't comment on it either. I think IGN reached out for a comment from them and they got nothing back. So who knows? But I haven't noticed it last week. I didn't notice it this week, but I also don't play as nearly as much as some people do. So I probably would have noticed if I was on there more often. The woes of being an adult, I guess. Number 6, I'm excited about this one. I just thought I'd mention it. New DLC is out for Wolfenstein 2, and that's part of the series DLC that they had planned where they had like 3 or 4 stories. If you pre-ordered, you got them included. And so that's coming out this week. It looks pretty neat. Follows a woman. I can't remember her name at the moment. I apologize about that. That looks pretty cool. So I'm kind of excited. Might give me a reason to go back into New Colossus because I know I didn't try the other DLC either.
Yeah.
I was too concerned with trying to get through the game. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
The next one, February, Matt. Did you see that February's PS Plus lineup is out?
Yeah, I saw a couple different things about the PS Plus lineup for February. The first one that was leaked, which was clearly fake, a little disappointing because I thought it was a better lineup. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll certainly download these 2 games. I've heard good things about both of them. I guess there's polarizing things about Knack specifically, but
no, stop.
What?
There's not. Knack is king of all. Don't you know this?
Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry.
Yes. So if you don't know, let's go through them real quick. PlayStation 4 is getting Knack and Rhyme. PlayStation 3 is getting Spelunker HD and Mugen Soul Z. And then Vita is getting Exile's End and Grand Kingdom, which is also on PS4. But Knack is perhaps the greatest game of all time, at least according to the Facebook groups I belong in. There are so many memes.
Have you played this game?
No, I don't care. I'll play it. I'll play it now. It's free.
Well, of course.
I'll play it now. It's free. I actually almost bought it a couple weeks ago. It was on sale for like $5.
Yeah.
I almost did. Now I'm glad I didn't. I would have been mad.
Yeah. Well,
it's a $5.
right? Yeah, you're not gonna get the $5 back.
But yeah, Knack, I mean, it's funny because there's a huge following. It's like a joke, right? And that's why I think they made Knack 2. I don't think Sony realized there was a joke behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm kind of excited. I'll try it out. Why not?
Yeah,
Rhyme looks kind of interesting. And then I heard good things about both the Vita ones. I apologize. I don't know anything about Exiles or Grand Kingdom, but I've heard things about those too. So I'll check those out eventually.
Well, do you know, I don't think you know offhand who the developer of Knack is.
It's a first party game, so it's a Sony made game.
Okay, right. But I thought
Sony made it.
Okay.
Do you follow the fake? Oh no, you don't have Twitter. Never mind.
I was gonna say I didn't the guys who made like Shadow of Colossus and stuff make Knack too?
Yes, I want to say yes. I think you're right. I think it's the same people.
So it makes sense as far as like what's coming out. Like, as the remaster or the remake is coming out, it makes sense that would be, they would have a game from the same studio.
Yes, I think you might be right.
Yeah, from what I remember looking up, that made sense in my head. That's why they did it.
I think you're absolutely right. I had to laugh because the fake CEO Kaz Hirai, I can never pronounce his name, account that he's basically the CEO of Sony.
Okay.
Somebody has a parody account of him that has 118,000 followers. He's always on point. And yesterday when they announced this, he tweeted out that there has been a big mistake. They weren't supposed to announce that we're making Knack free, but instead that we're making Knack 3.
Yes.
And I appreciated that.
For sure.
And then last week, of course, when the network went down, he said Last Guardian, Detroit, Horizon. At Sony, we love single-player games. We love them so much that we will take our network offline to force you to play them.
I mean, that's one way to do it, I guess, right?
Yeah. And then, he was just on fire last week. We have finally solved the PSN name change problem. If PSN is permanently offline, there's no need to change your name. Right? So, he was just tearing them a new one last week.
Yeah, but, as well he should.
Okay, speaking of Shadow Colossus, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
That's number 8 on my list. It's got outstanding reviews so far. It's standing at a 93 or 94 on Metacritic last time I looked.
Well, but why would it be any different, right? Didn't it get amazing reviews the first time?
It did, but you know how with remastered games, they sometimes, it's just, why are you paying $40? Because it's not really... Apparently, they literally took so much time to rework.
That's the thing. It's not even a remaster. It's from what I understand, it's a complete remake.
Yeah, they rebuilt all the environments. They took everything that was there, but they rebuilt it basically from the ground up.
Right.
They inputted a new controller scheme, and so literally it's just this redone work. It's completely rebuilt, and so. That's why it's getting outstanding reviews. It was a great game to begin with. I loved it. I remembered how fantastic it was.
Yeah.
The fact that it's doing this says a lot.
Yeah, I have to go back to your little mess up of words there, and I have to say that I would really enjoy if a game developer came up with a controller scream.
Yeah.
I think that would be a very interesting thing. Some kind of voice recognition controller that you had to yell at. Turn left. What are you doing? I don't know. I think that'd be cool. That's just me.
I completely butchered that, but hey, that's what happens.
Controller scheme.
I'm going to blame it on the illness this week.
Yeah, sure.
Number 9, Criterion. They made Burnout, which I never played, but I know is fantastic and beloved by a lot of people.
Burnout.
It was spotted.
Burnout, the racing
game.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, they had this crash mode. Ooh, that was the best.
They were spotted hiring for a new open world melee combat game.
Ooh.
They posted, I forget where it was at, but they posted recently that they were looking for people who had experience or who were interested in making an open world game with a focus on melee combat. And so take that for what you will. They might be going in a totally different direction from their racing roots.
Yeah.
But that worked out for Horizon Zero Dawn and Guerrilla Games, didn't it?
Sure
First-person shooter to third-person role-playing game, action game.
Oof, what a choice, and what a successful choice.
I think that's actually why I'm excited about this Monster Hunter thing, and I want to grind for it, because then it's like I could play with Aloy for another 500 hours if I wanted. You know what I mean? Hunt down monsters.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Dressed like that.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
And then my Palico can look like one of those little robot dinosaurs. Well, how would I not want that?
Yeah.
I actually want that more than the Aloy costume, to be honest.
Well, yeah. Do you know what the grind, like you say grind for it, like what exactly is it?
My Monster Hunter rank, my HR, my Hunter rank right now is a 2.
Yeah.
You have to be at least a 5
to get it.
to get that. And so
I don't think that's much of a grind, is it?
No, it's probably like a good 8-9 hours, but considering I play for an hour at a time,
are you
know,
sure?
I'm gonna be crunching.
Okay, yeah, okay.
We'll see. I mean, I might be wrong. I might tell you guys next week that, next Thursday that I was a total moron about it, and it took me like 3 hours when I was there. So we'll find out. Number 10, 11, and 12 are all dealing with everybody's favorite company, EA. So let me run through these together. Battlefield was announced by EA that they were probably going to have one come out this year in 2018 in the fall. And it's because Anthem got pushed back to 2019. And so that tells me they're either rushing Battlefield 3 or they're drowning so badly in Anthem that they want to cover it up with this decision. He also pointed out, the CEO also pointed out in regards to this that Andrew Wilson, CEO of EA, said, and I quote, "And one of those is just innovation in the core gameplay mechanic." He's talking about PUBG here. "And what the team with PUBG have done is really deliver a new level of innovation that changes the way people were playing the first-person shooter games," end quote. And so I have no qualms about it that I wouldn't be surprised if Battlefield 3, even if it's already in development, if there is some sort of similar battle royale mode.
Yeah.
So
I get it, but
yeah, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually really enjoy Fortnite.
So that's like one of those things where now battle royale, basically, you just fight through it and it's permadeath, correct?
Yeah. You start off, I mean, and you and I, you're going to find this out real quick when we do our Fortnite Let's Play.
I will last 2 minutes.
It's 100 players, 100 players on a map. Right, you run around, scrounge for materials, weapons, and everything like that. You drop out of a plane together, and then it's last man standing out of the 100. So it's a lot of fun. I like Fortnite. What I like about Fortnite is you can actually collect materials to build your like. You could actually build a house if you wanted, right, or a fort to protect yourself.
Sure.
And hole up in it if you wanted. I mean, it's not going to stand forever, but that's part of the appeal of that game. Is unlike PUBG, when you're out in the open, you're out in the open. If you're quick enough, you could throw a wall up.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So something's going to happen there with Battlefield 3. In relationship to that, though, they also talked about Battlefront 3. No release date. Respawn's game, though, who made Titanfall 2. If you remember, EA owns them. They are working on a Star Wars game as well as supposedly Titanfall 3, possibly. And the Star Wars game for them will probably come out in 2020. And then that ties into, last but not least, Battlefront 2 was expected to sell 10 million copies and it sold 9 million. So they were under projections.
Of course.
And so EA actually announced that earlier this week, I believe it was actually maybe yesterday, that microtransactions will, quote, return in the next few months.
We didn't sell as many copies as we would like, so we're going to gouge you for money now that you already have it.
Well, not only that, but now that we've gotten over the loot box controversy, supposedly, right, we're going to bring back.
Oh, have we?
I don't know, have we?
I'm sure as soon as they bring them back, there's going to be a Reddit storm.
Oh, I'm sure. And so they'll do it when they think it's ready, is what they said. And they actually blame the sales projections, no brainer here, on the controversy surrounding the loot crates.
Oh, what?
I know, shocker. I don't know where they got that from. I mean, I was ready to buy it until I heard that garbage, because you and I had a lot of fun with the first one.
Yeah, GTFO out of here. Yeah, GTFO, EA. Ugh, stupid.
Yeah. So, I mean, I talked about that in the very first, I think, podcast. I talked about how, I guaranteed we would see them again soon this year. I didn't think it would be this soon. Although he said next couple of months and it doesn't come out to like May or June, then that's not soon at all. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see, that was 10, 11, and 12. Number 13, and then we get to the real big news here. Ultimate Street Fighter 2 has launched Capcom into profits, even though they had soft sales on Marvel vs. Capcom. So they basically said the Ultra Street Fighter 2 sales on the Switch probably... I'm assuming probably sold double Marvel vs. Capcom, because they said they were soft and they sold 1 million copies of that. And so if something's soft like that, you're usually like 1 million off or 2 million off. And so that just tells you about the classic Street Fighter and how big of an impact it has had, and how many people are enjoying that on Switch now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that out there. Finally, last but not least, Matt, this literally happened like 3 hours ago. So I don't know if you saw it. Red Dead 2 release date.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I did not see it. That's nuts.
It has been pushed back because remember they announced that it would be out by summer.
Sure.
It has been pushed back to October 26th.
Yeah, but isn't that...
That's what we expect, isn't it? Because it's a Rockstar game. They push it back 3 times.
Exactly. I mean, it's a par for the course as far as Rockstar. But then it'll be like GTA 5 where they have this online presence. It's just undeniable and will last for, 5-6 years.
No, that, but it'll be an amazing game.
Yeah, of course. Oh, of course.
It'll be one of the most amazing
and
games
that's the
ever.
thing with Rockstar is like, sure, they'll push stuff back, but it's not like they're just making the product better. That's just how they do it. I mean, they're giving themselves time to put out an insanely better product.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I apologize. I skipped a news story that I wanted to hit on.
Jeez.
Because we're hockey fans.
Oh, are we?
And we both played NHL 94. Or at least I'd like to pretend, right?
Sure.
Did you play 94, NHL 94 back in the day?
I'm sure I did. I was into the games. I was into NHL games back then as well.
The last player from NHL 94 has left the league.
What?
Do you know who that is?
Jaromir Jagr, of course.
Jaromir Jagr,
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's the last active player from NHL 94's roster.
That's nuts.
And so he officially retired. And so now NHL 94 is completely irrelevant.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was
It's
reading
taken more
something.
than 5 years.
Yeah, right. I was reading something. What was I reading? I was reading that he went back home basically, and then like upon getting there, he had he's having knee issues or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So it makes sense probably why he went back to the Czech Republic.
Probably.
You know.
Well, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, plus it
He'll be
frees up.
missed.
I mean, if you just leave, it does. I'm sure it frees up. I think who was he with? Calgary, I believe, frees them up of their salary cap.
Yeah.
And then this is the time that people are moving and shaking as far as trade. So, I mean, it's sad to see him go. I mean, he's been here for how long? But
Oh, exactly.
it's understandable. He's like what? 40s, mid 40s?
Yeah, 45.
Yeah, exactly mid 40.
By the way,
Yes.
if you like what you're hearing and you'd rather us do a hockey podcast, you can write in at weare1ur2@gmail.com. And we'll do one of those on Patreon for you.
Another subject we know a lot about.
Well, yeah, exactly. 2 things I know something about,
Right.
and that's about it.
Well, no, you have a third subject under your belt. You're a wrestling guy.
I am. Actually, I was just talking about that the other day.
Maybe not so much anymore, but you've definitely. I mean, you could talk laps around me when it comes to wrestling.
I used to have the little thing, and I knew the wrestler's real name, their height, their weight, their birthday. I mean, that's how hardcore I was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I didn't know. I can't tell you it now, but I know I had that little booklet somewhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, oh yeah.
I mean, I did watch the 25th anniversary of Raw because
I wanted to.
I mean, don't you have
I didn't
Hulu,
get
my
to.
friend? It's on there.
I may have canceled that. I'm pretty sure I did.
You canceled
Sorry,
Hulu?
I'm pretty sure.
You cheap man.
Maybe if they sponsor the show, wink, wink.
Right.
I'll tweet at them.
Brought
so
to
you
you
can
by
see.
Hulu.
Brought to you by Hulu. All right, let's move on.
Yep.
What I want to talk about for the topic of the week this week, and this is actually it's Xbox, but I want to talk about how it affects PlayStation. And that would be, I sent you this story earlier in the week. It is Xbox's Xbox One games as part of their Game Pass program.
Yeah.
Did you read up on that?
I did not.
Did you do your homework? Of course not.
I'm terrible.
You're probably
with
the same
homework.
kind of kid in. I know you're probably the same kid in high school.
Yeah, I'm a procrastinator. You're
whatever.
lucky I barely read this briefing on today's episode.
I know. I put it together. I take hours putting it together. Actually, I take like an hour. Well, no, actually, I did take hours.
Yeah.
I put it together. I felt like a true podcaster this morning.
Yeah.
I put this together this morning. It's starting at 7 a.m. I started working on this podcast for today because I just haven't had time all week.
Yeah, that's okay. That's amazing. You put hours into it, and I've taken seconds to look at it.
Yeah. No wonder we're so bad at this. So Xbox One, I mean, you know that they have the Game Pass
I do,
where
yeah.
they include their games they have a huge backlog of 100 games from Xbox One, Xbox 360,
Yeah.
etc. Now, what they also decided to do, well, first off, unlike PlayStation now, you can download your games, right? For $9.99 a month.
Instead of streaming them,
But
right?
instead of streaming them, so win for Xbox. The other thing is Now it will include all Microsoft game exclusives being released from 2018 and beyond. So Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, any future Forza, any future Halo games or Gears of War. And so for $9.99 a month, you get access to new games day one. You get to download them. You get the old games, the over 100 old games as well. And what I was wondering is this PlayStation's got a 3-to-1 ratio basically in sold units. So it might be too late for Xbox this generation. But is this something that is going to catch up with Sony if they don't do something similar?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is Xbox. This is Microsoft and Xbox One's Hail Mary, right? This is the last-ditch effort to make this generation's console profitable and relevant before putting out the new one. But at the same time, I would imagine that Sony would counter their move with the same, maybe not until the next generation of console, but certainly when the next generation of PlayStation, when PlayStation, what are we on now? 4? When PlayStation 5 comes out, I would be shocked if they didn't match that. But having said that, Sony does like to shoot themselves in the foot a lot. So
every other generation. So
right.
PlayStation 2 was fantastic. PlayStation 3, they shot themselves in the foot. PlayStation 4 has been fantastic.
Right. So they're due to shoot themselves in the foot. So I can understand why they wouldn't do this. But I hope they would. I mean, because just imagine now, how does this work exactly? You said day one, but is there like a limit on how much you can play it? Is there like...
They haven't given those details yet. I'm assuming you can just play it all the way through. The other thing they haven't announced is how long those games are going to remain on there.
Right.
And so,
but if you can download them day one, I mean,
that's what I've read.
Unless they lock them, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Because I mean, just imagine a game like Horizon Zero Dawn getting it day one for like $9.99.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how could you be mad about that? That's awesome. You're getting this, ridiculously amazing game for $10.
Yeah. And so I think it's permanent. But think about that. Here's what I was thinking, actually. You literally could, if you got 3 new exclusives off. Now, here's where it's tricky. Microsoft doesn't really release a whole lot of exclusives. That's why Sony, crushes them in that regard.
It's kind of the other thing right now with, Xbox kind of floundering in that department too, right? I mean, they put in a bunch at the beginning and then kind of like lost it because people realized, well, no one's buying Xbox, so why would we give you exclusivity?
Well, and that's the thing, right? Xbox hasn't had a whole lot of really great exclusives. I mean, if you think about even the ones they had have been franchises like Gears of War and Forza and things like that have had multiple iterations, whereas Sony's constantly pumping out new IPs. This is the thing I've been thinking about. Even if Microsoft puts out 3 a year, that's $180 right there that you would spend on exclusives. Yeah. If I can pay $120 a year for that service, I've made $60. Especially if that's assuming I'm going to play all the exclusives they release, right? If there's something I want to pass on that doesn't work. Yeah. However, that's amazing because if Sony would do that, I can think of at least 4 or 5 exclusive titles each year that I've checked out, or like last year, right?
Right. For sure.
Now, mind you, Sony has a lot of second party, or for example, when Insomniac Games is making an exclusive game for them, but Sony doesn't own them, right? So Spider-Man's an exclusive, but not in that same way. And so, but that's still pretty impressive. I do wonder if Sony will reach out and do this eventually. If they do, I could see them announcing it at PSX this year, at the end of the year. So they'll just wait till then. I think they'll probably wait and see how it plays out for Microsoft. Although I just saw an article today that said the demand for that has surpassed what Microsoft expected so far.
Well, of course.
And so, but I mean, the other question I have is if it becomes like Netflix, here's the other thing that I have to wonder, how's that going to impact future games? And also, how's that impact retailers? Because I don't want to go pay $60 at a retailer if I can pay $10 a month, beat that game in 2 months. I paid $20 for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, if I mean, when you look into things like GameStop, though, I mean, if you beat a game within a month, they'll give you half of it back anyways.
Right.
They'll, through trade-ins or, they're always handing me like, the trade-ins are, I think the most they do anymore is $25, but then they're always handing me these little cards like, oh, get an extra $5 on your trade-in.
Right.
So, you're still getting half the game back if you can finish it within a month. And I think that's one of their new business models is like, guaranteed, $25 back and for the first, 3 weeks, 4 weeks or whatever that it comes out. So if you're playing them quickly enough, you can get some of your money back quickly. But I mean, I think it would definitely eliminate GameFly.
Oh yeah.
Because why pay $18 a month for one disc when I can instantly download whatever, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Sure, it's not going to be every game, but so what? Like I can, if I have a backlog of stuff, it'll be on there eventually, right? Ideally,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I just think that, plus, I just don't know this, but so this is like a legitimate question, but like, what does it take on Microsoft's end for it to be downloadable as opposed to streaming? Does that save them at all? Does that help them?
If you remember,
is it worse?
So a little bit of a history lesson. If you go back and look at what Sony did a couple years ago, they bought Gaikai for, I think it was $280 million. It was a cloud streaming service. They bought all their servers up and all their technology. And that was eventually, I think, where they put PS Now. And that's great if you have a high-speed internet connection, right? You live in Chicago, so you have fantastic, you have balls-to-the-wall internet connection.
And I pay for it, too. I pay for the top stuff. I have like 300 megabits per second.
Right. Welcome to America.
Yeah, right.
But I live in the sticks. I do. And I just now over the past year, they've been like, well, now you can get up to 200 megabits per second. And so I have that, right? I know. I have that. And that's great. It's that I pay for that. That's where PS Now hurts because you have to have latency and all those issues with streaming, whereas Microsoft lets you download it. All they're losing out on is that license. And if you think about Netflix is streaming too, but if Netflix also lets you download certain movies so you can watch them. Yeah. But I imagine that just like Microsoft and just like Netflix, I'm sure there's a thing where if you quit paying that $9.99 a month, it locks you out, right? Yeah, of course. It actually saves them server power and computing power, and they're still getting your money. So it costs them less probably to do that, I would imagine, than a streaming service. Yeah. Even with the PlayStation Network, maybe they don't do this anymore, but I remember you get all the free games of the month as long as you're still a member. Oh yeah, it's still like that. Yeah. Yeah. If it's like a game that has like downloadable content and you toss $1 at it, you get to keep it as long as you've spent some money on it, even if it was free to begin with. I believe they don't lock you out of it. Well, yeah. And actually, that's one of the cons of this. I think is if you look at the Play Pass, you're also paying for that. On top of Xbox Live, and so Sony would be, if it was Sony too, you're paying $60 a year, and then you're also paying. Or $60 a year, and then you're also paying $10 a month, and so they're actually getting $180 out of you a year. So it's maybe more than 3 games would make it worth it. But then again, that's only if you want to play online too. If they're single player games, who cares? If they're single player games, you just need that. You don't need Xbox Live. You can actually do that independently. Right. I personally think Sony would be smart to sit back and watch, which is what I think they're gonna do. If it catches fire, do it. And then here's my suggestion. I don't think Xbox has done this. Download, because I imagine they lock you out, right? They're going to lock you out if you quit paying the $9.99 a month, even if you downloaded the game, because that's what you do with PS Plus. Of course. So here's what you do. I think that up to maybe 3 to 4 months, you pay, let's say you paid $9.99 a month and you download that game the day it came out. So there's $10, and then you've played that game for 3 months, and then you cancel the service. Well, that you spend $30 technically on it. I say to let you keep it, and maybe Microsoft will do this eventually. I think Sony would be smart to do this. Say, here's the other $30, make it a $60 game, and you get to keep it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Why not? Because then then you're not overpaying for it. Don't make me pay $60 for something I played for 3 months and already paid technically $30 towards my subscription, but give me a discount if I cancel the service. I think that would be awesome. And then, you get to keep it. Yeah. Again, from what I've read,
how easily would that be able to be tracked though?
Well, it's tied to your account. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
I don't see why it could be tied to your account, because think about when a perfect example would be Journey, right? Journey came out on PS3, and then when they re-released it on PS4, I think if you had purchased and downloaded Journey on PS3, you got it for free on PS4.
Yeah,
because it was tied to your account.
That's the one thing that they would definitely have a leg up on GameFly about, because with GameFly, it doesn't. It's still market value if you want to keep it.
Right.
So like I've had Nier Automata for how long now, and it's still at that like $25 to keep or whatever, which is absurd. I've had this game. I should have just bought the game at this point. Like I should have just bought it, and it would have been cheaper, because I've had the game for so long that because I'm paying $18 a month on GameFly, I'm just throwing money at a game I'm not playing.
Maybe if we get enough Patreon supporters, you can finally buy the damn game.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe that's what our Patreon should be. If we hit a certain tier, Matt will finish Nier Automata so we can actually talk about it.
Exactly.
If we can get $100
if we raise
a month,
enough money, I'll finish Fallout 4. That's what we should do. Yeah, we talked about the backlog and how crazy it is. If we raise enough money, we'll finish our backlogs,
Yeah, we'll stream them too. How's that?
Yeah, exactly. I'd be fine with that.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about this that I thought was interesting is, and I think this is true about this too, I've been thinking about this, I take forever to finish games, especially something like Persona 5. I've been playing it since it came out last year.
Yeah.
If that was the only game I really got to on a play pass like this, a game pass like this, it would not be worth it, because instead of paying $60 for Persona, I would be paying basically $120 for it.
Right. And then it becomes like GameFly.
Yeah. And so it's great if you have the time. And I think it is a worthwhile service. I think it's something Sony is smart to watch, because it could be a PlayStation killer in the future, but we'll see. And I think that last time Microsoft had their back against the wall, this is why the next generation, they came out ahead, because they were thinking innovatively. And so if they can really make this a thing, Sony would be wise to pay attention, especially since they have PlayStation Now. Maybe just tweak it a little bit, right? You've already got that service in place. Right. Tweak it a little and let us download them and fix the subscription prices. And you're actually right there with Microsoft.
Yeah. Well, I think, isn't the subscription price still at $10
for PS Now?
Yeah. Or is it higher?
Well, since I don't use it and I don't really know anyone that does, I would have to look and see. Let's look.
I'm pretty sure it's either 10 or 15. It's not far off. It's definitely not far off from that $10 mark.
Yeah, I'll have to actually look and see. I'm really not well versed in that. Okay, you're right. A year-long subscription costs $99.99 a month. A single month costs $19.99.
Right. So if you just shell out the $100, it's like cheaper than $10 a month.
Yeah,
but I'd be okay with that.
So anyway, I guess that'll wrap up our topic of conversation. For those listening, we had some technical difficulties, but
did we?
Maybe we just got tired talking about it. But anyway,
one thing I was going to say before we got rudely interrupted was, how is that going to affect their ability to produce exclusives, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like you said, if it's $10 a month, right, it's $120. Well, then they don't have to produce more than 2 a year, because that's the same amount you'd be spending, right?
Yeah, and the budgets. Yeah, I didn't even think about budget-wise for those games.
So I wonder how much that'll affect their ability to do exclusives, or even just, or willingness to do exclusives anymore, right?
No, that's a good question. I didn't even think about that. That's a really good question.
If people are getting it for that cheap all of a sudden, maybe they say, well, let's just do something. Let's just keep it limited to 2 a year. From a budgeting standpoint, that makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
It makes sense in the fact that they can pick and choose like the 2 best games that they want to sink their money into for exclusivity.
Right.
But like with anything, how do you know that that's going to take off?
Yeah, that's true too. All right. I think that closes the file on that. We'll leave it at that. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about our next segment here. We're going to actually jump straight into what I call atrophy, and a trophy that just makes you mad or wears you down. And I actually have one this week that it hasn't worn me down yet, but I'm predicting it will. And you know what it's going to be? The same thing we talked about earlier.
Yep.
The damn strawberries.
Now, I haven't looked at the trophy list for it. Is it only one trophy for collecting them all?
So here's the deal. Strawberry badge, collect 30.
See, I have that already, I think.
Strawberry medal, collect 80.
Yeah, I definitely don't have that.
Impress your friends, collect 175 strawberries.
Whew, that is a lot of strawberries, dude.
I know. 2.3% have gotten it on PSN. On PSN profiles, 8.86% have gotten it. And so that's why I know it's going to drive me insane.
Yeah, that's a pretty high percentage, though.
It is.
Do you think there's more than 175? Do you think that's why?
Oh, I hope so. Because you know what? If it's exactly 175, let me click on the PSN profiles and see if it says anything. No, it usually has like a little paragraph that says, this is how many strawberries are in the game.
Yeah.
I guess no one's written the guide for it yet. Yeah. I really hope so, because I really, really don't want to have to be so nitpicky that I have to get every single strawberry.
Now, remind me, while you're there, is there a platinum for this?
Matt, would I be going for it if there wasn't?
I was about to say, it's probably the only reason he bought the game, folks. Hey-oh!
I mean, it had a little bit to do with it, but actually, it was more the IGN review. They gave it a perfect 10. It's their first perfect 10 of the year.
Yeah. I mean, of course, ratings are subjective. I'm always a proponent of that. But when it's something like that, it's like you got to kind of check it out, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just by comparison, I decided that because IGN, I mean, I know people give it a lot of grief, and I thought I'd look it up, but like it has a 90% on Metacritic for PC. For Switch, it has a 94%. On PS4, it has only 3 critics that have scored it on PS4, but those 3 have been 193 and 80. So, it's gotten really good reviews. I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it. I love that and Monster Hunter. Those are my 2 games, but right now. But I know that trophy's going to wear me down eventually.
Right.
All right, moving on. I'm going to wrap this up here a little bit. We're going to touch the PS blog, new games that came out this week, and then we got to talk about what would Matt do for that trophy.
Hey-o.
So let's go through the PS blog first.
For sure.
The drop we'll talk about, and maybe we'll look one of these up. So I'll just go through these quickly. It's not a really big week for much, unless you are a UFC fan.
Ooh.
Next week is the big deal, if you ask me. But Bricks 2 is out on PS4 digital this week, and it is a classic retro arcade game with all new animated characters, a bunch of women on the front, it looks like, trying to be sexy. New animated backgrounds, exciting new bosses, power-ups, and custom music. Collect bonuses and power your way through more than 100 new levels. Cold Iron is also out on PS4. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not on PSVR digital.
Ooh.
Cold Iron is a new sheriff is in town. Every enemy is unique, every duel is different, and every bullet counts. Cold Iron is a new game for a new genre for a new medium. Experience it exclusively in virtual reality. Now, it says a new genre for a new medium, and the picture is a cowboy facing off against a tank.
Okay.
So I don't know, but I'm going to guess that that's probably what they meant by new genre.
So what's the tagline? Strike while the iron is cold.
Boo. All right.
Zing.
Dissida. Final Fantasy NT is out, PS4 digital and retail. Choose from more than 20 legendary Final Fantasy characters and battle in a unique 3-on-3 arena. Call forth familiar summons like Ifrit, Shiva, and Odin to dominate the opposing side or turn the tide of battle in each match. I actually saw people playing the closed beta of this, and if I was a Final Fantasy fan to the point where I kept up with it, that'd actually be pretty neat. It's literally looks like a 3D brawler in some way.
Oh, okay.
UFC EA Sports UFC 3 is out on digital retail. That actually comes out 2/2, so it's tomorrow.
Nice.
of course, revolutionizes authentic fighting movement with real player motion tech, a new animation technology that delivers the most responsive and authentic athletic motion in sports gaming. This one looks kind of interesting to me. It's out on PS4 Digital.
Don't say the name.
Huh?
Tell me the description and I'm going to name it.
All right. Long after humankind perished in the flames of the oil wars, the great Panda Empire is expanding throughout the galaxy as the new dominant power, with the old world in ashes and an endless need for bamboo. Entire planets are turned into plantations, and the flames of war are lit once again.
Ooh. It's definitely called Black and White Barrage.
Oh, that's really good. You know why? You know why that's even better? Because I was going to tell you that if you could come up with some alliteration, it'd be good.
Boom. Black and White Barrage. or the Panda Prophecies.
Oh, that's even better. I'm telling you, these companies just need to contact us. We'll just name their games.
I'm just saying.
Send us a paycheck.
I know, right?
It's actually called Feral Fury.
Feral Fury. Okay. All right.
So that was really good. This next one is PS4 Digital, out 131. So it came out a couple days or yesterday. Fruitaki 2.
Okay.
Fruitaki is back and better than ever. Match 3 or more cute animals and level up. Go ahead and move any row up or down. We dare you to discover its ultra addictive gameplay.
So basically, it's like Candy Crush?
Looks like it.
Okay.
I'll give you this next one here. It's a PSVR digital only title.
Okay.
It is. You tell me the name of it. It's called Blank is an intense virtual reality strategy game for PSVR that puts you in the commander's seat against wave after wave of soldiers.
Ooh.
Very generic. Looks like Minecraft.
I was about to say, is it like a Command and Conquer VR?
I mean, I don't know. It looks like Minecraft characters, and then it has like late 80s, early 90s like town background. It's 3 words.
Pixels of Fury.
That's a good one, actually. It's called Out of Ammo.
Out of Ammo. Wow.
I mean,
it's gonna suck.
Probably.
If you're out of ammo, you know?
Yeah, sadly. I've been out of ammo too many times in games. Nightmares from the Deep 3, Davy Jones, PS4 Digital, out 2/2. So that's tomorrow if you're listening to this. Well, actually, it's already out if you're listening to this, but when we're recording. Play the final chapter of the fantastic pirate trilogy. Davy Jones and his undead crew appear once again to kidnap the museum custodian, Sarah Black. That took a twist I didn't see coming. And force her daughter Corey to sign a dark pact. In order to save Corey, Sarah will travel through mysterious locations, solve plenty of puzzles, and learn the truth about the ghost of a beautiful young girl who roams Davy Jones Island.
Did you say museum custodian?
I did. I said museum custodian. I don't read these ahead of time, and that took a real twist.
Yeah. Who could have predicted that?
I mean, the poster looks like Pirates of the Caribbean ripoff with Davy Jones.
Well, if we steal this janitor from the museum, she'll be the key to everything.
It sounds like Night at the Museum, the video game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think the third one actually, or the second one had his son in it. All right, this next one is out on PS4 Digital, the Pierhead Arcade.
Ooh.
Play classic coin-operated games. Compete on global leaderboards. Get digital toys at the gift shop using the tickets you've won.
I would like that. I know it sounds stupid and cheesy, but it's just the fact that there's like something in game where you're just like, oh, I'm going to get my tickets. I'm going to spend my tickets now.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, that's what every game is, right? You
classic coin-operated games, too.
But that's what I mean. Like, every game is like that. You get XP, and then you go spend it somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Railway Empire.
Ooh.
PS4 Digital and Retail.
Nice.
Exploit the economic opportunities of the United States in an extensive campaign, working your way step by step from coast to coast across this great continent.
Ooh, fun.
Restless Spirit, also out on PS4 Digital, out 2/1. The spirit of a girl appears in front of a father whose daughter is lost. This man, filled with grief in his heart, follows the guidance of the spirit, wandering ever deeper into the forest. Why has she shown herself? What is her purpose? The truth lies in the abyss of the forest.
Isn't that kind of like Silent Hill, but in a forest?
Kind of sounds like it, yeah. There's actually a lot. Oh, no, I lied. There's 3 more. I was going to say, there's a lot. Striker's Edge, PS4 Digital. Striker's Edge is a medieval... Oh, no way. All right. This one has my attention. Striker's... I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt myself there.
You're like, whoa, no! Yeah, real excited.
You tell me you're not sold on this one.
All right. Oh,
Striker's Edge is a medieval dodgeball with weapons, ancient warriors, and special powers. Challenge your opponents in an online and local multiplayer. Ascend to the top of the ladder and become the best striker.
Oh my gosh! What?
I smell Let's Play.
Dodgeball? Yeah, that sounds ridiculous.
Medieval dodgeball with weapons and special powers.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
I'm writing this one down right now. Striker's Edge. You and I are going to look that one up.
When does it come out?
It is out PS4 digital this week, so it would have come out probably this past Tuesday, the 30th.
Oh, okay.
So it's already out. So we're checking that one out.
Okay, all right.
I smell a Let's Play coming with that one. Time Recoil is out on PS Vita digital, so Vita's still getting some love. Time Recoil is a top-down shooter where you kill to slow time, experience amazing slow-motion gunfights, and trigger spectacular moves. Sounds like the poor man's VR Super Hot. Or is that what it's called? Super Hot?
I don't know. Sounds like a poor man's Max Payne.
Yeah, Super Hot. Though the game where you can't, yeah, it is basically, they're both the same thing. Super Hot's basically where you don't, time only moves when you move. So it's a first-person shooter. Everything's frozen unless you make a move.
Huh. That's cool.
And so that's on PlayStation 4, and it's also on PSVR. But this sounds like the Vita version. Every time you kill something, it slows down time. So it sounds like a mix of Max Payne and Super Hot.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to jot that one down too, because I always need something on the Vita. I am playing Arkham Blackgate or whatever it is, but... All right. Last but not least, I'm going to give you the title.
Oh, okay.
You tell me what it is.
All right.
PS4 digital this week. You make up the description. I don't want to describe the poster because that'll give it away. Wolverblade.
Wolverblade. Well, much like Wolverine, but a knockoff character, Wolverblade has blades for hands. He has to run through the forest, killing to feast upon the flesh because he is so intent on revenge.
I think I'll let you stick to them naming them instead.
Yeah. It's so much easier.
Help Britannia defeat the Romans in Wolverblade. A hardcore...
Yeah, you should have helped me out with the poster at least a little bit. Jeez.
A hardcore side-scrolling beat-em-up inspired by classics such as Golden Axe, Sengoku, and Knights of the Round.
See... You got me with Golden Axe. That sounds kind of interesting. I love Golden Axe.
Well, I was going to tell you that it has a guy holding a sword, looking grumpy. A woman behind him holding a sword, yelling. Another guy looks like a Viking behind him, yelling with an axe. And then a couple of people look like pharaohs or Romans there, yelling in the background. And then they're all behind all in front of like a fortress.
Weird.
I didn't want to give you too much. I felt like I would have given it away.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So that is what's out this week. And so I guess that really only leaves us. I'm not going to do some of our other segments because I don't have anything good for them, unfortunately. And so what we're going to do is we're going to head over to PSN profiles. I always like to look at what's new in the trophy lists. And there's always at least 3 or 4 Japanese games on there that I can't read anything, so we're not going to use one of those.
Sweet.
But what we are going to do is we're going to pull up a new trophy list. I'm going to pull up a name here from a game that's either out or coming out, and I'm going to ask you to go ahead and I'm going to go through some of the trophies, and then we're going to talk about one or two. In fact, I'll tell you what, I am so fascinated by Cold Iron.
Okay.
We're going to look at that. Cold Iron does have a platinum, so I would already be interested, naturally.
Yeah.
And it has 19 trophies, 1 platinum, 8 gold, 7 silver, and 3 bronze. So that's not bad.
This is the one where like you're like a commander, you're out, or wait, which one's Cold Iron again?
The new genre. There's a new sheriff.
Right. Where you're like dueling against a tank or something, right?
Yeah, at least based on the picture.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to give you a couple here. A lot of them are actually related around trophies, it looks like, for defeating someone. So we'll skip those because that's too easy. Nowhere Man, defeat the No Man with a A rank or better.
Yeah.
It looks like you might fight a tank because it says defeat the behemoth, and the picture looks kind of like a tank.
Huh.
So this trophy's called Chicken. What do I need to do?
With Chicken, you definitely have to just run at the tank as quickly as you can and just stand your ground. You know what I mean? Like, don't back down from the tank. Kind of like that guy in the...
Tenement Square?
Tenement Square. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. No problem. It's that ESP we got going.
Yeah, exactly.
Close. Discover the secret chicken in 3 worlds.
I love how you're always like, close. And then you just got something completely different.
This one's called Horse.
Horse? Well, I mean, you have to make the proper shots. You know what I mean? Like the game of horse in basketball. You have to do the trick shots during the duel.
Close. Complete the game from start to finish without dying.
Wow.
And the other one I think is not even interesting. It's called Gun.
Gun. Just get your first kill.
I guess technically it's close, right? Win a round in under 0.2 seconds.
Boom. Won it.
So, I mean, it's like a one-shot kill, I guess.
Nailed it. Well, then why wouldn't they call it Golden Gun? Ugh.
Oh, yeah, that would be good, actually, huh?
Telling you. Such a better namer than these developers.
No kidding. Man, there's not really any... that Panda one doesn't even have any fun trophies. They're all like complete stuff. I mean, come on, you're letting us down here. We need something fun to... How about... let's look at your Peerhead Arcade here.
Okay.
So that also has a platinum.
Sure.
It has total trophies. Oh, I just lost it. 1 platinum, 2 gold, 5 silver, 44 bronze. So that's a lot. That's 51 trophies.
Dang, that is a lot.
So it looks like some of them are for Arctic Shuffle, basketball, Binary Dash, bowling, Cannonball Bounce, Comet Drop, Dino Whack. You have to win a couple of bears, Honey Rush, lots of things with bears, Rapid Fire, Rocket Ball, Scarab Toss, Shooting Gallery, Super Punch, Zombie Shootout.
It's funny because I can imagine every single one of these arcade games already.
Yeah, you can. They're pretty iconic.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, that's kind of cool. That looks pretty good too. There's a couple other games on here that stick out to me, but obviously Monster Hunter has 50 trophies, 1 gold or 1 platinum, 2 gold, 11 silver, and 36 bronze. I'm super pumped about that. I think we might have talked about this last week. I can't remember because I mentioned to you, I think, that some of them are crazy, like complete 100 co-op quests or... Yeah, complete 100 quests via multiplayer.
That's nuts.
It is nuts. Reach Hunter rank 100. That's, 0.1% have gotten that on PSN. Yeah. We'll see. I won't platinum it, but I sure as heck will get that Horizon Zero Dawn gear. Well,
anything else? What would I do for the trophy?
Well, for under Monster Hunter? You mean?
I don't care. Yeah, sure.
Well, because you don't know anything about it, do you?
No, not really. I mean, I've played the beta, but that doesn't mean I know anything about the trophies.
Let's go with, you can tell me the name of this trophy. Cook your first well done steak.
Ugh, gross. That's the name of the trophy. Ugh, gross.
Why? Because it's well done?
Exactly. That's exactly why. Ugh, gross.
It should be called You Don't Know Steak.
Yeah, that's exactly. Take some cooking lessons.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah. It's called So Tasty. So clearly they don't understand steak.
They don't. Oh my gosh. No, they do not know steak. Good Lord.
You tell me what this one's called. Mount your first monster.
That's
the description. Mount your first monster.
Wait. I actually think I know. Wait, is it Yeehaw? No. Or Giddy Up?
No.
Oh, no, wait. I know this. I'm pretty sure I actually saw this one. I feel like I accidentally got this. Could you get trophies during the beta?
No, you can't. I wish.
God, what?
You must have been dreaming.
I don't know, maybe. All right, go ahead, tell me.
The bigger they are.
Oh, stupid.
Clearly
it should be Yeehaw.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be. Okay, here we go. This one's a play on words. You tell me the name of the trophy. Hunt your first tempered monster.
Temperamental?
You're so close. Temper.
Temper. Okay.
All right. Yeah, there's some good ones in here. Monster Hunter, collect 500 large monsters, or hunt 500 large monsters.
Yeah.
I need to try this one out. Fire an SOS flare for the first time. What do you think that's called?
SOS flare. Call for help.
Close. Yeah, it's just help with an exclamation point. Yeah. All right.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you got one. I'll give you that one because you got help in there.
right?
All right. Well, that's really it for the week. I think we're good. I think that'll wrap things up. I have decided we are going to try Striker's Edge.
Okay.
And so
Fine.
I'll broadcast that one on twitch.tv/Geeks and Games News. If you're listening, I'll shout it out on Twitter. You can follow me at PS Gamer Fans with a Z on the end there.
That's the medieval dodgeball, right?
That's medieval dodgeball. We got to do that.
Yeah, that does sound ridiculous.
And then I'm going to check out Time Recoil on Vita just for the heck of it. I'm just going to look it up and see if it's literally super hot meets Max Payne. Remember, guys, that you can find us here on SoundCloud. You can find us on iTunes. You can find me on YouTube, all under We Are One, You Are Two. Like, share, subscribe. More importantly, keep the mics on. We would prefer to do this and do a lot of other shows.
Heck yeah, we would.
Yeah, I would do a hockey one. I would do a wrestling one. I would even do a Let's Play series repeatedly. We're going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
And you can find us, I think, on Stitcher as well. I have us on there now, too. But head over to patreon.com/We Are One, You Are Two. Just like the R1 and R2 triggers, right? I'm so clever.
Oh my gosh, I just got that. Dude, what?
Are you kidding?
Oh, that's clever. That is super clever, dude.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
What? No, I would never be sarcastic with you, dude. That's just that's so clever.
Dave, if you want to put a meow noise in there, because I swear you could. Just like a little cat. Meow, meow, you meow. But anyway, yeah. So you can find us on all those services. Once again, I am Robert Fanzo.
And I am Ogie Rhodes, or Matt Rhodes, whatever.
Whatever. Until next time, guys, game on.
Game on. This is a new outro music. The outro music I designed specifically for us
every week.
All right.
You should have a field day with this.
I know, right?